21st, 2021, time is 5 p.m. Call into order the City Commission meeting of the City of Clewiston, Florida. Would you all stand for the Lord's Prayer and the Pledge to Allegiance, please? Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Mr. Martin, do we have any additions, deletions, changes?
No, ma'am. We do have some corrections, and you have those up there, and I'll note those as we come to each item.
Yes, sir. At this time, do we have any public comments? Yes, ma'am, if you would come up and please state your name, your address at the microphone.
My name is Nina Thompson, and 107 Ridgewood Avenue.
No relation.
Yes, I was about to say that. We have nothing related, but that's it. So, okay, I guess I can address my issue. Okay. Madam Mayor, President Patterson, and City Council members, thank you for the opportunity you have given to me today in order to address some city concerns. Last meeting, there was 3-2 vote held by City Council regarding whether the state should perform an investigation of our local police department about their possible negligent handling of the child pornography case. I have made my many inquiries about the incident and subsequent vote, and have been told by many people, including City Council members, they voted against an investigation to preserve the reputation of the city. I fear this vote have perpetuated an idea around town that sex crimes in Clewiston will go unnoticed, unpunished, and those complacent in allowing them to happen can operate with impunity. Sex crimes, of all the crimes, are the most heinous action of criminal act. They destroy lives and create a cycle of endless violence. I could give you many statistical numbers, but here I would like to let you know that I just lived through it and I know what happened. So my name, as I said, is Svetlana Thompson, and I am a survivor of human trafficking. Any child used in pornography is a victim of human trafficking. Any viewer of child pornography is complicit in human trafficking and increasing the demand for more lives of children to be ruined. It is my understanding this incident of child pornography occurred within 30 yards of a school and even closer to a daycare. Thus, Clewiston Police Chief knowingly and willingly allowed for child predators to be within a field goal range of the future of this city. The police chief did not just keep a child predator in a range of our children for a day. No, this went on over for 60 days as the chief of police allegedly refused to serve a warrant. The Clewiston City Council, rather than finding out why the police chief, a person who took an oath to protect our city, to protect our community, to protect our children, would not act against a predator and continue to allow our children to be at risk, was decided it was the city's best interest not to investigate. I was I watched your last meeting and I was just in shock because I work with a lot of law enforcement and everybody is very passionate about going after these crimes and the perpetrators. However, I do not have enough time to tell you my story. I would like to, but about my abuse and experience, or about those who couldn't have helped it, and they did not. But do I have enough time to tell you that sex crimes are the most persistent weeds in our communities? If it's not rooted out from the beginning, you will have a jungle of crime and violence, for real, because I live it and I have seen it and I still see it every day. There will be a trial of broken lives and destroyed dreams. Sex crimes lead to trafficking, trafficking leads to pimping, pimps leads to drugs, drugs leads to theft, violence, and more prostitution. And thus, more pimping, drugs, and crime, soon you will have a town, you have a cesspool of poverty and crime where no one wants to live. Then, what's happened next day? The town is died because everybody's going to move up. I would not want to live in town where is crime and prostitution, and crime especially against kids. Last meeting, you all had the opportunity to ask for investigation and to find out the root of the cause of the problem. But you voted against it. If you do not find the root of the problem, you will never, ever correct it. And I can guarantee you that. More importantly, you can never, no matter how hard you try, prevent it. Tonight, me as a survivor, you have the opportunity, and I'm asking you to consider and to do the right thing and vote for the safety of our children and the future of our city. Considering you vote for investigation, no matter what the outcome is, I'm going to give you something that most of other cities as Clewiston, they do not have. I will give you something you didn't know you existed till now. I promise you, as a resident of Clewiston, should you vote to protect our children and have an investigation, where we can find the reason why our police department allowed this evil to exist. I will give the community the resources needed to prevent and reporting in our community. You see, as I said, I'm not only a survivor, I'm running a nonprofit organization, national and international, which provides information and help to victims of human trafficking. As a community, I believe we can make Clewiston the safest city in the United States. Not because sex crimes would not happen here, but because this is the only town in the country who will be capable of mobilizing multiple resources. My organization can provide information and reporting to victims. I work with a lot of organizations from everywhere. We can provide with trainings, with awareness, with resources, what is needs to provide for anybody help. And if there is a kid what is in trouble. And I would really hope you consider that, because it's really dear to me and it's very hurtful if we cannot get the bottom of that, because I know what's gonna happen. I have seen it. And it's such a shame. I love this town. I moved here just a few months ago. And I absolutely love it. The people, they're just wonderful. I haven't seen such thing in a very, very long time, considering I have lived in many countries and in many towns. And I would really like to offer my help and to participate, making this town better and the most safest town in the country. And here I just want to mention that 24/7 applied for Freedom of Information Act for the case, and I'm waiting on the response and see what will happen further. But however, today I'm here just to offer my help and hopefully to consider your decision. because it's about our town, it's about our people, and it's about our kids.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you
Thompson.
so much. I appreciate your time and attention.
Thank you. Laura, did you have something?
Good evening, Commissioners.
Good evening.
Laura Smith, 206 Ridgewood Avenue, just down the road from me now. We all know the 4th of July is coming up. Posted a couple on Facebook. We sat and debated at length and heatedly about ordinances regarding fireworks that sound like bombs. Can we please advertise that 4th of July is the Sunday? And can they limit it, please, so we don't have our poor dogs being medicated for any length of time over there, and the debris that gets left on the streets, as many places as we can, please, and we can bring that ordinance to a full, and if a couple of people have to pay fines or get citations or whatever it takes, please to make sure we have that ordinance at least once or twice a year enforced. I'd be greatly appreciated.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the citizen who would like to make a comment this evening? I kind of went off the rails on that one, didn't I? Hearing nothing. Recommended motion is to approve the consent agenda.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to pull item B. I spoke to the city clerk today and to the city manager, and I still have some information that I'd like to review myself. And so I would ask the commission to pull item B and have it on the consent agenda for next month.
Okay, we're going to pull item B and we're going to have it on the consent agenda next month.
And I'd like to pull item G just to talk about the dates, because I'm going to be gone on some of those.
Okay, and let's pull item G. So then the recommended motion is to approve the consent agenda with the absence of items B and items G. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thompson, second by Pittman. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing nothing, motion carries. Agenda item number 3. This is resolution number 2021-60. This is a public hearing. The background, oops, yes, I'm sorry. We do have a presentation. I beg your pardon. This is Maudlin and Jenkins, the financial audit for the fiscal year of 2020. We're going to hear about our fiscal health. Thank you, Commissioner.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Commissioners. My name is Daniel Anderson. I'm an audit director with Maudlin and Jenkins, with responsibility of the day-to-day activities for the city's 2020 fiscal year and audit. In your agenda packet, you should have 2 items. One is the financial statements themselves. And the second is a separate document that we refer to as our auditor's discussion and analysis. This goes through our required communications under governmental auditing standards. To governance, you can do this either written or verbally. We choose to do it in a written format. I have a brief presentation for you this evening that essentially highlights the auditor's discussion and analysis, and then I'll be available for any questions that you had at the conclusion of the presentation. Some brief information about Maudlin & Jenkins. We did just complete our 2nd year as your auditors. We are a large regional audit organization with over 100 years experience serving governmental entities. We have 9 offices throughout the Southeast United States, including 2 in Florida, and your audit was served from our Bradenton, Florida office location. Our governmental niche is the firm's largest niche, serving over 550 governmental entities. This includes over 130 municipalities similar to the city. One thing at the very bottom there that we are proud of is that one of our former governmental partners, Joel Black, was appointed as the chair of the Governmental Accounting Standards Board. So it's certainly humbling for us that the standard-setting body for governmental accounting sought someone from our firm to lead their organization for 7 years. You'll see in the auditor's discussion and analysis, there's about 10 pages of upcoming pronouncements that are coming for future accounting changes. So certainly Joe will have his work cut out for him serving in that capacity. Speaking to your 2020 financial statement audit, we have issued an unmodified opinion, which is the highest form of assurance that we can render. Therefore, in our opinion, the financial statements are free of material misstatement. There are several other reports that you'll note in the back of the financial statements. One is one that we refer to as the Yellow Book Report, which is a report on our test of the city's internal controls and compliance with respect to certain laws and regulations. There's no opinion issued in this report. It's a form of negative assurance, so Only if we note something, you'll see that within that report. We are happy to report that there were no issues noted. Additionally, as the city expended more than $750,000 in state grant awards, a single audit was required to be performed on one major program. We did perform an audit of this major program and had no issues noted with respect to the city's compliance with that major grant program and the requirements of it as such. There's also an independent auditor's management letter, which goes over our testing of the city's compliance with respect to the rules of the Auditor General. There was one management letter comment that was noted that I'll go over in a minute here. The last report in the financial statements is what we refer to as an independent accountant's report, and this is a report on our examination regarding the city's compliance with the investment of public funds. There were no issues that were noted in this report. Quickly to go through those required communications that I mentioned, management is ultimately responsible for the financial statements and accounting policies of the city. In performing the audit, we experienced no difficulties in working with management. Sherry's truly awesome to work with and very helpful in getting us the information that we need. There were audit adjustments that were prepared and provided to management, who posted it to the city's accounting records. However, there were no uncorrected misstatements where we propose an audit adjustment and the city elects not to post it. We had no disagreements with management over the application of any accounting policies or procedures. At the conclusion of the audit, we obtained written representations from management on the accuracy of the information they provided to us. We are not aware of management's consultations with other accountants or what we refer to as opinion shopping. There were no significant issues discussed with management to bring to your attention. And then we are independent with respect to the city. Talking about the one management letter comment, it's in regards to inter-fund activity. And essentially there are some large inter-fund balances between the funds at the end of the fiscal year. And this is a result of each fund kind of having its own bank account and certain transactions going through one fund bank account that is actually attributable to another fund. So it brings up a liability from that fund to the fund that the activity is actually owed to. These are some pretty significant balances. And our recommendation is that the city consider implementing a pooled cash system, which instead of each fund having its own bank account, the entire city would have just one or a few bank accounts. And the accounting system would track where the activity was coming for your cash receipts and disbursements and appropriately post that to each respective fund. We do think that this would help with some efficiencies for management. It would help reduce the number of bank reconciliations that are performed on a monthly basis, and also help reduce the reconciliation that's performed to make sure that each fund is truly made whole based on the activity that happens on a monthly basis. We have two other recommendations that you'll only note within the auditor's discussion and analysis. The first one is that we noted that there were some long outstanding checks still on the city's bank reconciliation. When we brought this to Sherry's attention, she had already indicated that she started the process of clearing through those checks. So we just recommend that she continues that process. And then going forward, we make sure that we have a process to make sure that those long outstanding checks are kept off the bank reconciliation and they're cleared in a timely manner. The second recommendation on the auditor's discussion and analysis is really in regards to cybersecurity. That's certainly a trending topic, not only in governmental accounting, but I think all across industries. We do perform an analysis of the city's IT in regards to the financial reporting process, and we noted no deficiencies with that. However, this is a recommendation that we've given to all of our clients, as back in February, the city of Oldsmar had an attempted cybersecurity attack on its water system. So we just wanted to provide a recommendation for the city to always be evaluating its cybersecurity framework to make sure that it has policies and procedures in place to prevent cyber attacks from happening to the city. And then should one happen, that there are policies and procedures to detect it and remedy it in a timely manner. That's the presentation that I have this evening. I know that there's probably a few questions, so if you have any questions about the audit process itself, the financial statements, or the auditor's discussion or analysis, I'm happy to answer those at this time.
And I know that you met with some of the commissioners privately earlier. Are there any other questions that have come up?
I just have a quick question. I apologize that I didn't have time to meet with you, but under the OPEB, when I look at that number, I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, it's such a huge number. But I realize that it's more than just retirement. It also includes health insurance. Can you kind of just go over that real quick? Because it's not just the employees' health insurance, is my understanding, but also if they have a dependent.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
all right.
So by Florida statute, each municipality is required to offer its retired employees the option to maintain or to stay on the city's health insurance plan, even though they'll pay 100% of the premiums. What this does is essentially the premiums that the city is paying for its employees, it's paying a little bit higher because you have some of those older retired employees on there, which naturally causes your premium rates to go up. So under accounting standards, because some of those retired employees are on there and the city is paying that higher rate, it creates what's referred to as an implicit subsidy, to where, for example, if the health insurance premium for one person was $150, because we're allowing these retired employees to stay on the plan, it's now $180. So the city's paying $30 extra on its monthly health insurance premium per employee. So what some actuaries have done is they've gotten together and they've said, okay, how can we prognosticate and project what this liability to us over an extended period of time is for the other post-employment benefits, so not your pension expense, or not your pension payments, but your health insurance and any other benefits that are offered. What is that implicit subsidy that we're having to pay over time, and how are we bringing that back to present value dollars? And that's being recorded as a long-term liability.
I just want,
It's really confusing.
well, it's just, that I know that our employees, once some of them, they pay a big chunk of their dependent coverage. So, to see it that way, I'm just like, and then they might not take it because it is very expensive for them to keep it afterwards. But I know you have to include it, even though they might not take it.
Correct. And part of the actuary's projection is actually determining what the participation rate is. So, not 100% of your employees are taking that benefit. It's only a certain percentage of that. So they actually account for that whenever they determine what that full liability is.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions?
On page 6, on the unrestricted amounts or liquidity, can you explain why that's minus 1.476 million?
Yes, sir. So this is the governmental activities at the government-wide basis, the unrestricted net position. So when you evaluate the governmental activities, we do it in two manners. One is the fund level, which is your general fund, your CRA fund, et cetera. And then at that level, it's under a different basis of accounting called the modified accrual basis of accounting, which is more of a cash basis. Under governmental accounting, we are also tasked with accounting for the capital assets, the long-term liabilities, such as the OPEB, your net pension liability, et cetera, for the government-wide, if we were doing a full accrual basis of accounting, such as a regular business. So what this amount is kind of the residual of all of your assets plus deferred outflows minus your liabilities and deferred inflows to get to your ultimate net position of $7.9 million. And of that, $65,000 of it is restricted from outside sources. $9.3 million is your net investment in capital assets. So that residual to get to your $7.9 million is a negative unrestricted net position.
On page 74, it says general fund reported net interfund liability amounts of approximately $1.9 million. Your recommendation for pooling, will that fix that?
That would fix that, yes. So essentially what that's going to do is if you look at, I'll bounce you around to page 12 at the general fund, you'll see it has a due from other funds of $1.3 million and a due to other funds of $1.9 million. So those amounts would be netted down because the actual cash would already be transpired or exchanged as the transaction was taking place and not subsequent to the fact.
And on page 74, on the first paragraph, it says an amount due to the city's pension trust fund from the general fund in the amount of $100,516 was recorded without the intent of general fund to repay the pension trust fund. Could you explain that?
Yes, sir. So this is a follow-up from the 2019 audit and a finding that was issued where we were required to post a prior period adjustment as the 2018 ending amounts in the general fund recorded a liability of $100,000 to the pension trust fund, which the general fund was not going to repay. So we wanted to remove that liability and account for that appropriately at the beginning of fiscal year 2019.
They were not going to pay, but did they owe it?
They did not owe it. No, it was not required to be paid.
And the first sentence, a long-term interfund loan in the amount of $479,204 between the general fund and the water and sewer fund was not recorded within the city's general fund.
Yes, sir. So this was an amount where, again, at the end of the 2018 audit, there was a long-term amount. There were certain, at the fund level, advances are required to be reported. Advances are interfund loans greater than 1 year. The advance was recorded for this amount in the water and sewer fund at the fund level, but it was not recorded within the general fund at the fund level. So that needed to be recorded for that interfund loan to properly be recognized in the general fund.
So it's a real loan, it's just a long-term, and
That's correct.
not paid within a year.
That's correct. And it was not recorded within the general fund at the 2018 end fiscal year end. So we had to make that adjustment to record that to begin last year's audit.
Then one more we wasn't able to get to is on page 12. Advances from other funds, $362,428. What, can you explain that?
So this is the prior year, that the $379,000 that was referred to in your prior question. This was us actually recording that long-term interfund loan within the general fund, and that's the current amount outstanding at the end of 2020.
The 362
Yes, sir.
is what's left owed
Yes.
in the long term? It's the
Correct.
same loan?
Yep.
Do you know the length of that loan offhand?
I don't off the top of my head. Sherry, do you have any idea?
It's actually two. It may be, and I think it's like the last year of the fire trucks and also all juice loan from the water sewer fund when we did the all juice project in the Park of Commerce.
Because I know there was a loan at one point time, $1.2 million for the utilities.
That was an actual loan. 1.2 million was an actual loan from a loan entity. It was actually 1.414, and that's been paid off.
Okay, thank you.
How many years are left on that one? Do you know, the all juice?
I do not. We will have to analyze it with you because there were a couple of times because that loan has been on the books. The comment that he made about the way it was recorded, that was done back in like 2012, 2011, and not until Malden and Jenkins looked at the audit when they actually, recorded it the way it was supposed to be recorded. But there were a couple of fiscal years where the payments, because of the condition, the commission during budget time chose not to pay back anything to the water sewer fund.
But we can analyze and give them more
Yes, I can
follow-up.
analyze. with
Okay.
you and,
All right, see how many years we
Yes.
project that would be left.
yes.
Thanks, Sherry.
It'd be important with the upcoming budget to see where we're at on all that.
Yes.
That's all
Any
for
other
me.
questions? Mr. Anderson, thank you. Thank you for
you
your
guys
hard
very
work.
much, and thank you for the opportunity to serve the city. We appreciate it.
And I appreciate him coming early, and I appreciate those of you, particularly ones new to the board, coming in early to individually sit with him. We didn't violate any protocols. We had them individual appointments, and I appreciate it because I think it was very helpful. I hope you did.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Yes,
Daniel.
sir. Thank you. Okay, now we'll move on to agenda item number 3. Resolution 2021-60. This is a public hearing in the background and history. Resolution 2021-60 approves the special exception request from United States Sugar Corporation to allow the parcel located at 1300 South Francisco Street to be leased for agricultural use as it was in the past. The property is currently zoned R3 residential. The City Planning and Zoning Board met on June 14th, 2021, and recommended approval of the request to allow 4-H to use the residential parcel for agriculture purposes with the following stipulations. A, special exception to expire 5 years from the date of approval. And B, landscaping to be maintained to prohibit overgrowth. The vote was 3-0 by the City Planning and Zoning Board. Two of the board members, Hatham Kaki and Donnie Hughes, were absent. Do we have any citizen comments on this item?
And while you're waiting on that, if there are any, I just wanted to point out, there was a slight change in the language from what was originally sent out in the resolution, those two stipulations. The last one in particular was a little misleading, the wording, so I don't want to say misleading, unclear. So we changed it to landscaping to be maintained to prevent overgrowth along fence and adjacent right-of-way. That was a concern of the Planning and Zoning Board, that it be properly maintained and not grow up through the fence and become
So we should move on the correction, not the ones in the book.
Correct.
correct. And you should have a
You should,
copy
yeah,
up
there was an
there.
addition that you should have it.
And the same exception, same language is in the next item as well, so I won't
Correct.
repeat it. But
There is no financial impact. The recommended motion is to approve. Reading the resolution by title, 2021-60, resolution of the City Commission of the City of Clewiston, Florida, approving the special exception request from United States Sugar Corporation to allow the parcel located at 1300 South Francisco Street to be leased to 4-H for agricultural use. Do we have a motion?
I move we accept.
Second.
Motion by Thompson, second by Gardner. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Agenda item number 4, Resolution 2021-61. Again, this is a public hearing. Resolution 2021-61 approves the special exception request from the United States Sugar Corporation to allow parcel number 33443-16A00-0026.0000, located between Arroyo and Sonora Avenue, west of WC Owens and west of the city maintenance facility, to be leased for agricultural use as it was in the past. The property is currently zoned commercial. The City and Planning Zoning Board met on June 14th, 2021, recommended approval of the request to allow the commercial parcel to be leased and used for agricultural purposes with the following stipulations. A, special exception to expire 5 years from the date approval. B, landscaping to maintain the prohibited overgrowth, again with the same correction as the previous. There is no financial impact. Do we have any citizen comments on this item? Hearing none, recommended motion is to approve. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thompson moved, second by Heislope. Any discussion?
Is this also for 4-H?
no, this is not for 4-H.
This is just for U.S. Sugar.
Yes. And they could answer any questions. There's a representative here tonight if you have questions on that. You'd like any further explanation.
No, I was just wondering if it was for the youth, that's all.
It's for animals.
Yeah, and it's a continued use of what it's been. Yeah. Any other questions? Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Moving on to agenda item number 5, ordinance number 2021-01. This is a first reading. The background and the history, ordinance number 2021-01 adopts an amendment to the City of Clewiston Comprehensive Plan to change the text of the city's current 10-year water supply facilities work plan. City Consulting Engineer Andy Tilton presented the draft ordinance for review and recommendation by the city's Planning and Zoning Board. The Planning and Zoning Board met on June 14th, 2021, and recommended approval of the ordinance. The vote was 3-0. Board members Hatham Kaki, Donnie Hughes were absent. There is no financial impact. Do we have any citizen comments on this item at this time? Hearing none, reading by title, ordinance number 2021-01. An ordinance of the City of Clewiston, Florida, adopting an amendment to the City of Clewiston Comprehensive Plan to change the text to reference the city's 10-year water supply facilities work plan as provided on attachment A and made a part hereof, providing for severability, providing for conflicts, and providing for an effective date. Recommended motion is to approve. There is no financial impact. Do we have a motion?
Second.
Motion by Heislope, second by Pittman. Discussion?
We do have Andy to answer any questions you have, if anyone has any. This is obviously very important to us to have this timely done. There are a number of things that this impacts, particularly any future development plans and things. This has to be in place. So he's here to answer any questions.
I'm here for questions. If you don't have questions, we'll move on.
Good job. Looks good.
Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
Good job, Andy.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Tilden. Agenda item number 6 is Resolution 2021-62. The background on this is it approves the final pay request from Power Pole Maintenance Company Limited Liability for the distribution pole inspection services, contingent upon receipt of the contractor's final release of lien. There is a financial impact of $4,647.75. Do we have any citizen comments on this item? Reading the resolution by title, 2021-62, a resolution of the City of Clewiston, Florida, approving final payment in the amount of $4,647.75 to Power Pole Maintenance Company for the distribution pole inspection services. The recommended motion is to approve.
So moved.
Moved by Pittman,
Second.
second by Gardner. Any discussion by the commission?
For one, I'm glad it's over with. And is this covered by a grant, or what is this coming from?
It's coming out of operating.
Yes, it's budget.
A lot lower than I expected.
Yay.
We found out we have 2,300 poles, not 16.
Yeah, that was the big finding. Is our liability was a lot higher
Wow.
than I thought.
Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing nothing, motion carries. Agenda item report number 7, Resolution 2021-63, background and history. Resolution 2021-63 approves the award of the construction services in connection with the East Ventura roadway rehabilitation from South Dean Duff Avenue to South Francisco Street. It's the contract to Hinterland Group LLC, and it authorizes the mayor to execute the contract on behalf of the city. The city issued bid number 2021-01 on April 28th, 2021. 3 proposals were received and opened on June 2nd, 2021. City consulting engineer, Johnson Engineering, Inc. Engineers have reviewed the proposals and recommended awarding the contract to Hinterland Group, LLC. Please note there was a $300 error in the bottom line calculation of Hinterland's bid. And per the bid documents, when there's an error, the unit price shall prevail. So the final financial impact will be $664.88. Do you have any citizen comments on this item?
Mayor, I'd like to make a comment on this. In the past, I have represented Hinterland. I do not have a conflict with regard to reviewing this item, but I wanted to make that part of the record.
I appreciate your disclosure, sir. Thank you.
And I also had a comment, Mayor and Commission. This is another item where we had a couple of minor corrections. One, the contractor's name was it had a minor error in it. The official name, it has been corrected in the documents before you. Liquidated damage amount, since it was initially sent out, has been inserted in paragraph 22, and the contract has been executed now by the contractor.
Thank you.
Those updates.
Thank you.
And again, Andy is available to answer any questions you have about this project. You've discussed it at length in previous workshops and other meetings, the scope of the contract and so forth. But if you have any questions, particularly about the bidding process, we're prepared for those. It does include the base bid and both alternates. The engineer recommended both, staff concurs that they're both needed, and the pricing, we kept those separate because we could have done alternatives to address those, but we feel the pricing is fair on the low bidder, and that's why we're recommending award of all of it.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Reading by title, Resolution Number 2021-63, a resolution of the City of Clewiston, Florida, approving the award of the construction services in connection with the East Ventura roadway rehabilitation from South Dean Duff Avenue to South Francisco Street, contract to Hinterland Group LLC, and authorizing the mayor to execute the contract. Recommended motion is to approve Resolution 2021-63. Moved by Thompson, seconded by Highslope. Any discussion?
Randy, that $848,000 is a big number.
Yes, sir.
This is 100% grant funded, correct?
No, sir. Half of it, well, let me qualify that. Half of it was funded through a SCOP, I believe is the proper term that Florida uses for the grant, roughly. It's not quite half, but roughly half. And we can give you that exact number. The balance is coming from the city's funds that we receive for paving and any other available amounts necessary to balance it out. But we get an annual appropriation, and we can further elaborate on that for paving, but we didn't pave any other
That from
major.
DOT?
Yes, or through the state. It's the gas tax and that source.
Yes, we didn't, it's basically our paving project.
Yep, and we usually have several items we pave, but we didn't pave any, knowing that this number was going to exceed our grant amount based on the engineer's estimates. We'll be coming back to you with two subsequent actions on this. One, to do any necessary budget adjustments to appropriate all the necessary funds before we finalize it. And the second thing is we have to select an engineering firm to do the inspection services related to this. So those will be forthcoming fairly soon to the board to finalize this item. Andy, you want to add anything, or Sherry, to what I just said?
Are the aprons included in this, Andy?
This includes what was required of us, but only.
There will be a 5-foot apron at every driveway that doesn't presently include one. It does not include the entirety of an apron to the right-of-way lines.
Okay.
We looked at that, but did not recommend going forward in this contract with that because it pretty much taps us out.
I know we had talked about whether doing a
Yep.
piece or.
And doing an assessment, we elected not to recommend that on this particular project.
So that's just going to put us further behind.
Correct.
And you have a question for you. When, if it looks like this will be approved tonight, what kind of time frame are we looking at that they'll start work?
The other components that were mentioned by the manager, getting a CEI firm in place. We also have to, it's more of a formality, but it's something we have to do, is run this through the FDOT review as far as the contract. And as soon as that's done, and the CEI is the primary thing that's got to get done, is hiring a firm to do the inspection work that's expected by FDOT under the SCOT program.
So do you think by fall we're going to
I
be?
would think in the next, it probably could start within the next 60 days, as long as the CEI firm is on board.
And we plan to have that on your next agenda for
Okay,
action.
thank you.
The actual work time is probably 4 months or so. The drainage portion of it, putting pipes in the ground, is a little bit weather dependent, but the actual pavement work that's to be done is probably 2 to 3 weeks worth of work. It's a relatively short, but they gotta get all the other stuff done first. And one of the alternatives that was there was to fix some base material in 2 places where we found some muck with the geotechnical borings. And so that this ought to last a lot longer than simply putting blacktop over the poor base.
Thank you.
I would just hope that that alt word is not in there, ought to. It's, it will last longer.
It will in those locations.
Okay. Thank you,
Nice
sir.
to see it started, so.
Yes, it will.
So we have a motion by Thompson, we have a second by Highslope. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Item number 8, Resolution 2021-64. The history approves the continuing agreement for professional services work order number 2020-07. That's between the City of Clewiston and Johnson Engineering, Inc. for the East Ventura Avenue drainage improvements. Financial impact is $74,770. Do we have any citizen comments on this item? Hearing none. And reading by title, Resolution 2021-64. Resolution of the City Commission of the City of Clewiston, Florida, approving work order number 2020-07 of the continuing agreement for professional services between the City of Clewiston and Johnson Engineering, Inc. for the East Ventura Avenue Drainage Improvements Project. Recommended motion is to approve.
So moved.
Moved by Pittman, second by Gardner. Discussion?
Just added for information for the public as well as the board. This is a grant-funded project. You've approved the agreement, I believe, at the last regular meeting. This project is important. It's not directly related to the asphalt project, but it is relative in that it's going to address drainage issues in the same quarter. Andy, could you comment on the locations, specific locations of where they'll be doing their engineering analysis and on city-owned property that will provide the basis for this and the rest of the elements?
Right, the grant is for a water quality improvement project, and the city has some property on the east side of Dean Duff, south of Ventura, as well as part of a road right-of-way along Alverdez, south of the Trinidad Park. And those two locations were chosen to provide some water quality improvement for this area that has none now. So that will work in the city's benefit going forward with a couple of the state water quality programs, the TMDLs and the NPDES programs that the city has to participate in, whether you don't have a choice over that. One of those unfunded mandates. And so this will provide some water quality. We're also getting some new culverting as part of this from East Ventura South to these two facilities, so that you're getting some new drainage pipes out of this. And so those are the two benefits that are coming, and this is fully grant funded, as the manager said.
And the next steps will be to, if you award this contract tonight, for the engineer to complete the design, permitting, and then we'll bid it for the actual construction.
And actually, as far as permitting, when we did the roadway project, we were able to actually get an exemption for this.
Good.
So that's one step that we could skip. We can go from the design plans
I've forgotten
to the
that.
bidding.
Thank you, Andy. I've forgotten that.
Thank you, Mr. Sultan. Any other questions, discussion? Hearing none, all of those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item report number 9. This is Resolution 2021-65. The history is this approves the contract for services between the City of Clewiston and Thompson Consulting Services, LLC, for debris monitoring services. Hendry County sought proposals for these services initially and included Clewiston and LaBelle services. Thompson Consulting was the selected provider of these services in the event of a major storm requiring these services. Costs in a declared storm event are reimbursable from FEMA. Financial impact is unknown. Do we have any citizen comments on this item? Reading this item by title, Resolution 2021-65, a resolution of the City of Clewiston, Florida, approving the contract for services between the City of Clewiston and Thompson Consulting Services, LLC, for debris monitoring services.
Move that we approve.
Motion for approval by Gardner, second by Heislope. Do we have any discussion?
Once again, no relation.
And I hope that we never have to use it.
I agree.
And this is required by FEMA to get reimbursed.
Yes.
Well, and it's necessary, particularly, they do the oversight of the contractors and the hauling, and Sherry can give you amount of detail that you need on that, but it's a very critical piece.
Okay, that's all right.
No other discussion, no other questions. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 10, Resolution 2021-66. The background and history is Resolution 2021-66 approves and authorizes the mayor to sign the contract for sale and purchase between the City of Clewiston and Hato Potrero Farm, Inc. for the sale of the property located at 609 and 621 Commerce Court, Clewiston, Florida, known as Lots 7 and 9, Clewiston Commerce Park. The financial impact will be the contract price is $119,493.38, which price will be adjusted at closing to $1.08 per square foot. Do we have any citizen comments on this item at this time? Reading by title. Resolution 2021-66, a resolution of the City of Clewiston, Florida, approving the contract for sale and purchase between the City of Clewiston and Hato Potrero Farm, Inc. of Lots 7 and 9, Clewiston Commerce Park. The recommended motion is to approve Resolution 2021-66.
So moved.
So moved by Thompson, second.
Second.
Second by Gardner. Discussion, questions by the commission? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Do we have any old business?
I guess, I don't know where you want to fit in the item that Commissioner Pittman went off of the, to discuss the budget calendar,
Yeah.
the schedule,
Do you
the
want
tentative
to talk
budget
about that now?
schedule.
Okay,
I don't know where you want to do that.
we can do that now. That's fine.
Okay. Yeah, anyone that has any conflicts, please share them, because this is very tentative, but obviously we want to make it as conducive to your schedules as possible, so.
Well, I also had a question in there. I see you're going to finish reviewing and modifying the budget on July 16th, and then we have a meeting on that Monday. It's going to give us very little time to review the
Yeah,
budget.
We will have it out to you in advance of that. That's just sort of my deadline, but we will give it to you in advance of any workshops. There might be additional information we would have, but you'll have a draft of documents before your meeting.
Okay.
Good point, though.
No, I'm not, that wasn't my point.
I'm sorry.
It appears at that meeting, and I could be wrong, that you're wanting us to approve the millage.
No, this would be the max. Typically, you're required, and Sherry can comment or I'll try, you're required to set a maximum that you will not exceed as you go
Correct, but
through
in
it.
years
You can
past-
lower it, but you can't raise it.
But in years past, we have lowered it at this meeting. So we're not, don't think I'm going to have enough time from getting it on the 16th and reviewing it to the 19th
Oh, I
to make
agree.
a decision to lower it.
Yeah, we will likely
But
recommend
it's
what we
what I'm
believe.
getting at,
Yes.
if you'll let me
I'm
finish,
sorry.
is we don't have to have it to the property appraiser until August 4th. So maybe at the August 2nd
We've got time.
workshop, we could incorporate a special meeting to set the
To take the
maximum
action.
millage.
To take the action. Good point. Yeah, we certainly want to give you ample time, but we have to do it by then, by the August date that the
Correct.
county established.
And then,
But we
the
can do
other
it
note-
any time prior.
Yeah, and the other note is I won't be at the July 26th. So
July
y'all can still have it and
26th.
I can join by phone, or if we move it to a Thursday prior to that, but either way is fine with
So
me.
you've got a conflict with July 26th, all right?
I have a conflict on August 9.
All right. August 9.
And we've already talked about the 19th.
So, okay. I'll follow up with you, and as we get closer to these dates, we'll fine tune them, but we wanted to at least get that feedback from you on what conflicts we knew of at this point so that we can try to accommodate the schedules as best we can. Thank you. So August 9th, we have a conflict of a commissioner. July 26th, we have a conflict. Any others? And your point's well taken. As long as we've got time, we can defer action until a later meeting. That's a good suggestion to do it on August 2nd.
So we're good with that? Okay. Old business.
There was no action required on that, so that was just for information.
Yeah, I have. Randy, last meeting, we talked a little bit about the splash pad and the youth center. Can you give an update on that?
Yes, sir. I didn't get a chance to talk to you prior to the meeting. I'd hoped to. I polled the commissioners. My recommendation tonight is that we go ahead and open it up as soon as possible, sometime between now and July 1st, hopefully next week, and operate it on a limited schedule through the summer months. And that may entail at some point a budget adjustment depending on the cost, but that's my recommendation tonight. And if you want to formalize it in either consensus or action, that would be helpful, because we did have it frozen, if you will, in the budget. So I didn't feel comfortable doing it on my own initiative without the board's consent. So far, I've not had any objections from any members, but
I know that I've discussed that with you, and I think it needs to be open. My concern has been that, in the past, we had the pool open at the same time, so there was, lifeguards were watching out what was going on, almost 7 days a week, of what was happening over at the splash pad.
that's correct.
And we don't have.
We don't have
staff
that oversight.
We don't have that oversight, and we don't have someone at the youth center. So I'm just hoping that you'll work out with staff, especially on the weekends, who might be working, to just check on it to see that everything is going okay.
Yeah, it does have timers for automatic cutoff after every so many minutes, but and we just tested it all. But we will take that in consideration in the schedule and have staff monitoring any issues that we have there on the schedule.
We need to go over to Belglade. I stopped at the park over there, and they have quite a water feature over there.
Oh, really? I haven't seen
And
that.
they have the ability they cannot jam those timers to keep them on.
Well, I don't believe ours can be, but I'll double check that. I'll look at theirs. I go by there periodically, so I'll check
Is
it
that
out.
at Pioneer Park?
Yes, yeah, quite a facility.
I haven't seen it. But if that's your prerogative to agree on that, I recommend that we do it as quickly as possible, particularly since we were unable to have a summer recreation program with the YMCA due to the lateness in the schedule before we were able to open it back up.
I just hate that it even has to be limited hours. That facility is there. The pool is not open, and parents are looking for some place to take their kids. And,
There's not a whole lot
and
to
it just
offer.
sits there with a padlock on
What
it.
kind of limitations, just with the FERDAP grant that was used to build it, is there limitations on the hours of usage, or?
Not to my knowledge. We'll double check that, but I think you just required to have it open to the public. When it is open, it can't be
We
discriminated.
couldn't charge.
You can't charge and you can't
Right.
discriminate, but beyond that, I don't think they established specific hours. But last year, I think we did 3 days a week for so many hours a day, and you'd stop early afternoon, evening, 4 or 5 o'clock. So I'm assuming we would do something very similar this year. And of course, we take reservations for groups and things like that. We'll continue to do that. But I think daylight hours, a set number, and do as much monitoring as we can to ensure that it's properly utilized. But I don't believe there's a minimum number of days required, because I think the last year we operated it, we were doing it 3 or 4 days a week, if I remember correctly.
What kind of schedule are you thinking about? You still think about 3 or 4 days a week?
At least that, and then if we get a bigger demand, we could increase it, but at least 3 or 4 days a week.
Yeah, I would say at least
And
5.
advertise that so people know and
In the weekends.
Right.
It
It don't get
needs to
dark
be
till
open all
8
day on
o'clock.
the
yeah,
weekends.
yeah.
I mean, the only thing we've had to offer the kids in the community is a week-long golf. That's sad.
The golf camps this year,
And libraries offering
and
reading
library
camps.
reading camps. Those are the only two.
Anything else under old business?
So it is a consensus then to proceed with that.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Hearing nothing, do you have any comments, any questions on the monthly activity reports?
I just noticed that on the, and I talked to Randy about this in the past and mentioned it to him again. I'd like to see more information. I mean, we've got the names of cats and dogs, but we don't have information on other departments to that detail. And I certainly would like to see on the departmental reports more details on the monthly inspections, the permits, and also that they were using previous property owners as the ones who've pulled the permits when some of them are deceased. So I know that they couldn't have pulled the permit. So I'd like for us to check on the program that we're using to make sure that we are correctly issuing those permits. And I just more information on the protective inspections report, just not numbers, but details about what all those entail, what type they are. And there might be a program out there already that, but you know, I'm just looking at the details on some things that to me are fine, but I think there's a lot more information that we should have on those reports I've mentioned.
Any other questions or comments on the monthly activity reports?
Yeah, I was glad to see that the animal control software is up and running. And I don't know how easy it is to add another line item, but I would like to see if there's any donations. But I just want to make sure if someone's donating, we're recognizing them, give them a thank you or something. And then also citations. We could have that added to the report. I think it would help the county too to see what, you know, what's county volume, what's city volume.
Make sure they're consistent.
Yeah. The rest of it looked good, and I'm glad they got the program going.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments?
Is the new POS system up and going in all departments?
I'm sorry.
Is the new POS system up and going in all departments?
Not at this point. Not all of them, I don't believe. We're working on them. You talking about the point of collection,
Like
point
when
of
you pay for
sale?
something at the golf course
Point
or
of sale.
something,
I'll let Sherry give you an
no longer have
update.
to manually tally at the end of the day.
Sherry Howard Finance. You know, when we talked about that, it also implements the use of credit cards and also online use where citizens will be able to make certain payments. So what we need to do is, and what we are in the process of doing, is analyzing each department that we're talking about, which is basically like community development, library, police department, animal control, which would be part of the police department, and big part of that is the credit cards. So to answer your question, no, it hasn't been implemented yet. We are moving forward with the business licenses. We're waiting to get a date so that those will be, so that we'll be able to start doing that. But we were finalizing the audit. I was working on that. So it's not up where it is now. Where I am at is I wanted to make sure when you start talking about credit cards, and it's all important, but we have like a $27 million budget. We have the biggest part of our money that comes through is our utilities. So when you start talking about credit cards, and I'm not a pro, I just know what something that we needed to look into is that you get these credit card fees, and they're like interchange fees. They're broken down into like 3 different categories. and I can't remember off the top of my head what they are, but there are certain fees that you cannot control. I mean, you don't, in other words, you don't, they're set by the credit card companies. So for utilities' sake, the credit card rate, an interchange fee for a credit card is lower than, like, say, a retail site for our golf course. That would be more money. So then you have your fees for governmental fees. So I'm saying all that to say that we've got a mishmash of fees, and we want to make sure that we're not like, I want to make sure the interchange fees are, that we're accurately doing them. So that's something that's where I'm at right now. Hopefully talking to a credit card company this week. That's on my agenda. And then once we do that, we're going to get the equipment.
Are you doing this on your own?
I'm doing it with
Plus
staff,
budgets,
with,
plus.
with JD, and the help of the departments, because it'll be what they need.
It's a work in progress.
Look at, like, say, library. People come in, what do they pay at the library? They pay library fines. What are most of your fines? They're probably like 50 cents or $1. I don't know. I haven't done that. So the kind of questions that we ask, or that I want to analyze is, okay, well, are we going to allow library fines to be paid with credit cards? Are we going to allow library fines to be paid online? Because all of that is, yes, we want to, we want to, the citizens are our customers, but we also want to make sure that we're not spending a lot of money to collect the library fine.
Right.
So that's.
We should have control over all that. We can set a minimum.
Yeah,
use
but
a
those are
card,
some of the things that we're looking into.
set our prices accordingly
Yes,
to make
sir.
up the difference. Like if
So-
they're going to charge us a 6%, you raise your rates accordingly. We don't eat that.
So that's where I'm at now, is just analyzing those.
All right.
Thanks, Sherry.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
But I do know, just for the record, I do know that the commission, or I feel that you want to get it implemented ASAP. But I didn't want to just jump into it because I was worried about the credit card fees too, and to make sure that we didn't just go out and, because credit card companies, they don't like those fees that I'm talking about. If you were charging for an animal control fine, if you were charging an interchange rate for utilities, which is a low rate, they don't like that so much. I mean, that's not a good thing. So that's where I'm at.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sherry.
Any other questions, comments on the monthly activity reports?
Just, so are we still, are we collecting, I know we stopped collecting money at animal control, so where are they paying, at the police department
Correct.
or city hall?
No, City Hall.
At City Hall, I'm sorry,
Oh,
here.
because we don't have the POS system yet? Is that the reason?
That's primarily it, and some other transitional reasons for now. And that's
Okay.
where it's at.
Well, it's just if, on the weekend, if someone wants to get their dog out of jail, they're not going to be able to do it. If the
Does
city hall's
complicate it.
On a
closed.
holiday.
Does complicate it when it goes over the days. We made some adjustments in our policy for that, but over a weekend, it's challenging because we don't get paid for those extra days if we do it. But it's a work in progress as well on that schedule.
Anything else?
Mayor, we have someone else that would like to make a comment, someone in the.
Okay, let us finish this, and then before we adjourn, I'll thank you. Thank you for putting that on my radar. Mr. Martin, comments?
No, ma'am.
Mr. City Attorney, Mr. Brandenburg?
Mayor, I passed out a chart that Mr. Dylan Brandenburg prepared to help you all keep track of the 8 various contracts you have on the Commerce Park. And Mr. Dillon is available for any questions that you might have.
Give him a hard time.
Anybody see a bus?
Very colorful. Nicely done. I just, I have to say, I was beginning to think we would never see something like this. Mr. Martin has worked very, very hard to move these lots, and that we see it's like a bingo card that's getting filled up. And I'm just really thrilled that we're moving forward and with the speed that we are, and getting the industrial park filled up and poised and ready to be functional as it was intended?
Well, it's a team effort, truly, and I said no comment, but I should point out that I do recommend, just for the public's sake, that we reschedule the previously planned July 6th workshop to a date undetermined at this point, when we can hopefully act on additional contracts for the remaining lots. And if, with the board's indulgence, I'll work with each of you to poll you on a schedule for that in the next few weeks, at which time we can do any additional workshop items that we need, rather than encumber that date on your calendar.
Very good. Thank you. I do appreciate you doing this. I'm a visual person, and so I like it. Makes it very easy to, when I have to thumb back and forth and go searching, I get frustrated. So thank you. Anything else, Mr. Brandenburg?
No, that's all. Thank you very much.
Commissioners?
Police cars, we had a special meeting to discuss our options, and we were unable to do it at that meeting. Have you been able since then to get any?
No, I will be working with the new chief on, we've done some work on it, but we got some more to do. During the budget process, we plan on making some recommendations to you regarding our options. And we definitely need some vehicles this year. It's been several years since the city purchased any. And we're looking at, as we discussed briefly at the workshop, leasing or buying, or combination of the two. And we that's one on our list to keep working on, and we'll be working with the vendors that have expressed an interest in the leasing option to assess that versus outright purchases.
We have approximately $200,000 left over from our CARES Act. Can any of that be put forward? Public safety?
We'll be looking at all the options on that, and that may be one of them towards equipment purchases. Whether it be leasing or purchasing, we could use some portion of that.
Anything else? Mr. Pittman?
Nope, nothing.
Ms. Seichel?
I have nothing.
Okay. Changed your mind?
No, I did want to address Mrs. Thompson's comments. And you reminded me when I just looked at her, at the last meeting, I think we said that the new chief, and I know he's been busy, but might be able to look into that
Yes.
internally, just to maybe give an explanation of what
12
happened.
months. Yes. Yep.
Concerning the child pornography thing.
Speak on that or no?
No,
I mean,
I'd say it ought to be on the agenda before we
Yes.
do it.
yeah, I mean, that's fine with me.
Ms. Heisler?
I don't have anything tonight.
Ms. Gardner?
I do. At the last commission meeting, I mentioned that there were some things because of the fact that we've been talking since November a lot about what we heard on the campaign trail. And I just felt that, because some things have been brought up and because I thought back over the last several months and everything that's transpired, I just wanted to make 2 points. And because each and every department has had issues over the years that I've been on the commission, I know that we've brought up things to the city manager on and off. But to me, some of the targeted efforts that I have seen since November with specific departments has left me concerned, because I did hear a lot of stuff on the campaign trail. And I normally, or I have not in the past, ever brought up a fellow commissioner's personal affairs from the dais, or even though there's been reason to in the past. I felt it was important to bring up the two things that I heard on the campaign trail, because I think from a city responsibility, I will look to the city attorney to guide us, but it was mentioned to me several times of the concerns of a sitting city commissioner or a person elected to serve on the city commission doing business with the city in an official capacity, or working in the city where city staff had to review the work that was being done. And I would like guidance from the city attorney, because the perception is that if there's a conflict of interest in how something is being handled, that city staff, because it is a city commissioner, that they will not do what needs to be done. I'm not casting blame on anybody. I'm just saying that the perception's out there that there's a conflict of interest because it's a sitting commissioner, that they will get preferential treatment. And I bring that up because it has been brought up several times, not just during the campaign, but afterwards. And so I know that I will disclose that before the election, I had a conversation with Commissioner Pittman, and he told me that he would not be doing business with the city as he had in the past, and that because he was concerned as well. And so I just wanted to bring that up because there is that perception of preferential treatment for a sitting commissioner, especially when they volunteer to do work on behalf of the city, whether it's fire calls or attending department meetings, that there's not a conflict of interest. And Gary, I'm going to ask you with this statement that I think you need to give city staff guidance to make sure that there's not a perception of preferential treatment, and that if there's a conflict of interest, it's addressed, and how staff should address it. And then the second thing is, I mentioned that I had spoken to Commissioner Pittman before the election, and I'm disclosing publicly that conversation because I think it's important, especially after I've seen what's happened since November. But he did confirm to me that he and his wife had purchased land on the west side of the county, and that they would be building a home in the near future at that location. And so I'm just concerned sitting here, hearing some of the recommendations and the motives maybe behind them, and that I am concerned because somebody's going to make decisions or make recommendations and not live with the consequences of those decisions. And I was talking specifically about law enforcement. I know we have a city charter. I know that I believe that there's added safety protection with us having that in the charter. And I believe it's important that everybody realize that that was confirmed to me, that the term is not long-term, so to speak, and that some of those consequences to those actions, especially when it comes to law enforcement, would be detrimental, in my opinion, to the city. And I'm bringing that up because that was a conversation I had, and I wanted to publicly disclose that. And I wanted the community to know that disclosure, because I'm going to question all the intentions in the future based on the fact of what ramifications there might be. That's all I have, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. I just want to say, if we open that door, then you're going to have to look at me too. You know, retirement's on my horizon. My daughter has recently gone through a life-changing experience, and if she leaves, I may make that decision to go with her. You don't know what life is going to bring, where people are going to go. I am dedicated, and I will speak for myself because I kind of feel like you're throwing me in that barrel. You never know what's going to happen with anybody's family.
I agree with you on that.
And so I think we want to be careful how far we reach.
I wanted to disclose that conversation because that is a decision that's already been made. It's not something that might be impacted in the future, but that's what I was told.
But that's a net that's cast. So that's all I want to say to that.
Well, you start questioning the character of people. That's not a good thing, Molly.
Well, and Jimmy, we've had that
I mean, next week
conversation,
or
and
in
I wanted
5
to bring
years.
it up because you did confirm
Does that matter?
that
I
you've
mean-
already purchased property and you would be leaving the area.
Mayor, can I ask a question? Mr. Gardner,
I very guardedly will say yes, go ahead, because
I'd just like
there's a
some
venue,
clarification.
there's a time and a place and an appropriate.
so we don't go down the rabbit hole every
Thank you.
As commissioners, are we allowed to direct you to do our bidding, or would that need a motion from this dais?
Generally, when questions are brought up that have legal implications, I look into them unless it's a disputed issue and the commission wants to actually vote on directing me to do it or not. Unless you all tell me otherwise, I will look into this matter and report back to you on items that I think are appropriate.
Thank you. Thank you. We had one more person who wanted to speak. What were the oh, she was a little late getting here. We won't hold it against you.
Thank you. And on a positive note, I want to come before you today, and the reason I'm late, I forgot this was your meeting, but when it flashed on my phone and said you were going live, I figured you were here. But
we weren't Zooming.
I'm glad the sheriff and the chief of police was in here because I did speak. But you can't ticket me for that now, it's after the fact. But I want to come to you all tonight to say to you, we had the best Juneteenth event that I think anybody in the country could have. And it's only because of a lot of your support that we were able to do it. Last year, you all took the ball completely. The only thing we had to do was tell you what we wanted to do, and you all rolled out the red carpet for us and made it happen for us. This year, we decided to stay in our own community. But when I tell you, you got an angel in your mayor, she came in from New York Friday night, and Saturday morning at 9 o'clock, her and her police academy was on that field helping people set up and stayed with us. And I just want to say thank you. I thank you to the city that they sent the stage out there for us, and they sent us trash things. And this morning when they came, they had your trash truck to come pick it up. And for that, we are most grateful. The Juneteenth Committee, the Harlem Civic Improvement Association, and the Harlem Tennis Association would also like to thank the sheriff and especially Matt, because I think we put Matt on the speed dial for everything the sheriff told him make happen. And then to the new chief that I met. He is the chief now?
Interim chief.
The interim chief. I went and had this conversation with him on Wednesday, I think. But he made things happen for us, and you all was represented in the parade. So we are most grateful. And we are most grateful that now Juneteenth is a federal holiday.
Yes.
And will be celebrated. So again, thank you. Words can't describe what I want to say to you all for the help that you all gave us. We were able to give out 2 scholarships, each of them valued $15,000.
Wow. Wow. That's awesome. Yeah. Great job.
So we are thankful and we are grateful, and we know it's all because of God.
Amen.
Amen.
We have nothing more on the agenda, no more comments. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion by Heisler, second by Gardner. All in favor? Time is now 6:23. We are adjourned.